Welcome to today's webinar, Increasing Trust with Key Accounts Through Outcome Success Plans with Vijay Rao, Director of Product from Tango. Welcome, Vijay.
Thank you, Lorena. Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. I'm glad you could find the time to be here with us today. I'm excited to walk through this amazing feature that we built at Tango. All right. So before I dive in, I wanted to put a plug-in for the previous webinar that just concluded in case you missed it. It was a great webinar that was conducted in collaboration with Tango and Deloitte and was conducted by our SVP of Customer Success, Kevin O'Kame. It's available on our YouTube channel. You can go check it out. A lot of good information there. All right. So today's agenda is to talk about key account management and the details around that, talk about outcome success plans and how it plays an important role with key account management. Excuse me. And then we'll go into a Tango demo where I want to show you the feature with a mock scenario. And then, of course, we'll summarize and go into quick Q&A. All right, in the previous webinar that Ravit and Amit conducted around dynamic engagement, they had brought up the a customer success engagement model. And this model is important from the perspective of being able to scale your CS organization and be able to serve your customers in such a way that you're still delivering a quality engagement, but at the same time, giving you means to scale. Our digital engagement is run by Christina, and she's done several webinars on this topic. So you can certainly go check it out on how you can do digital engagement using Tango. But the focus for today is really around key account management. And key accounts are those critical top-level enterprise accounts where that are providing maybe 80% of your revenue or basically a large chunk of your revenue, and how you want to operate around managing your key accounts. Now, to make this easier, we've been working in Tango on a success block that will help you get all the pieces around this. For those that aren't aware, we have a robust success block gallery where we put out new success blocks which allow a end-to-end flow of a customer journey as well as managing all the outcomes as part of that. And so as for key account management, we've been working on a success block that will give you a way to focus on the key accounts, look at all the right KPIs, and to make sure that you have the right set of engagement with all your key accounts. Now, this success block will be released to the gallery sometime this weekend, so look out for that. As part of this gallery, we obviously have aspects around outcome success plans, and to make sure that your key accounts have coverage with your outcome success plans. We've listed additional aspects around it, being able to conduct your loyalty and satisfaction related feedback loop with your key accounts. To focus on voice of the customer and customer feedback, by the way, I will be doing a detailed voice of the customer webinar in the second week of June. So definitely tune in for that. Excuse me. Excuse me. So, so today's focus is going to be on outcome success plans and how they play an important role with key account management. Okay, so let's go into what an outcome success plan is and why it's even more important in today's new COVID reality where everything is digital, and having a digital engagement has become even more important. So success plans have always existed from before. The key constituents of a success plan is really being able to capture and document and help your customers achieve mutual objectives. Mutual objectives are those objectives that were promises that you made to your customers when they acquired your solution, and then how you can help them achieve those objectives. The key first step is, of course, to document these objectives and then have a detailed action plan that you can execute against those objectives. These detailed action plans also, it's important to have a templated action plan that you can deploy for different customers based on different scenarios, and having the ability to do that is really beneficial so that you're not reinventing the wheel every time. And the other aspect, which is a really important aspect, which we will dive into a little more detail in subsequent slides, is being able to share the success plan with your customers and truly partner with them to be able to achieve, to help them achieve those objectives. So what I wanted to do was wanted to get a sense of, I know that a few customers have started using Tango for outcome success plans, but I wanted to get a sense of if you already have a offline practice of creating plans, and if not, do you have plans to create plans in the future? So Lorena, if you can start the first poll, that would be helpful. I'll give everyone a minute to respond so we can see a sense, get a sense of how everyone is approaching this topic. So Lorena, do you see results? All right, great. So I see that a decent chunk of respondents do have offline plans, which is great. That means that you can transition into these Tango success plans and take advantage of them. And of course, there are a few customers that haven't started using success plans yet. And we have a smaller set of customers that are using Tango, so which is great. And our goal is to have more customers use this. In fact, we wanted to partner with the customer to deliver this webinar, but a lot of customers are still in the process of rolling these out. So hopefully 2 or 3 months down the line, we're looking to partner with one of you to present your success with this feature. Now, we heard about the components of an outcome success plan, but let's also understand what are the benefits and why are these so important with key accounts. Having the ability to have a documented set of objectives ensures that your entire team that's working to help the customer, serve the customer, are all aligned on those objectives. And any self-help coach or any self-help book that you might have read, the first step that they say is to be able to document your goals. So being able to document the goals ensures that everyone can see what is it that they're striving to achieve, all right? So the next step is, of course, having a repeatable process for these for this plans ensures that you're also always able to deliver consistent outcomes. And also you're not letting everyone sort of figure out things on the fly, but you have a templated plan of action for them to execute depending on various scenarios that may arise across your customers, which you may already have experienced. And this now gives you the ability to translate that and execute on it. The third aspect is having a documented plan also ensures that the trust and transparency that you have with your customers grows immensely, because they can see what are the objectives that you're partnering with them on, the progress that is being made on those, and being able to see that in a transparent manner increases engagement tremendously, and also the trust that you build with your customers over time. And finally, in today's digital reality, with not so many QBRs happening, in fact, having a digital representation of the plan when you're engaging with your key stakeholders, customer stakeholders in those executive meetings, being able to visually show the progress that you've made towards their objectives and how the ROI has been delivered is huge in terms of increasing retention and other key outcomes to create executive alignment. And then separately, of course, the day-to-day engagement is also huge, where you're able to partner with customers on a day-to-day basis. Okay. All right. So the third piece of this, which I said I wanted to dive in a little deeper, was the sharing of the plan. It isn't sufficient just to have a plan in place. It's really important to have means to share it with your customers and have them actively participate with you towards achieving those objectives. And a customer portal to be able to do that is really beneficial, so that they can track the progress on a day-to-day basis. And also you can have various activities that you may be expecting them to accomplish, and you'll be able to see the progress as they make those objectives as well. So there is really a shared partnership in terms of achieving those goals, and it makes it really easy to engage with your customers on this. Okay, so I wanted to now understand, I saw some of you doing it offline, so I would assume that you are also obviously sharing it offline. The challenges with offline, as you realize, is the moment you put something on paper, it becomes stale immediately, and that's why they aren't very effective. I know that a few of you have already started using the online portals component into Tango. I wanted to get a sense if there are others who are still looking to, do this. Give everyone a minute to complete. All right. So looks like a lot of you are sharing your attachments via email, and I'm sure you're looking for alternatives. And I'm eager to show you how you can now use an exclusive portal to share this with your customers. And hopefully a large majority of you will transition into this online approach. With that, let's dive into the demo to see the product. But before that, I want to set this up. So what I'm doing is I wanted to use hiring as a common concept that everybody can relate to very easily, and show a plan on how, as a software company that is selling hiring software, and we help our customers reduce their time to hire and reduce screening times, how does this translate into a plan, and how can I share with customers and interact with them? Okay, so with that, I will dive into the product. Just going to move this around. All right, I'm assuming everyone can see my screen with Tango. I have zoomed in so that everyone is able to see this very clearly. So what I am looking at is, as you can see, I am a company, I hire and we sell hiring software, and Vodafone is one of our customers that is looking to use our product. And I have a overview and timeline, and you can see I have a plan tab into Tango where I can start defining the plan as I engage with Vodafone. Now let's acclimatize ourselves to what you're looking at the screen, and then we'll dive into the details. So as you can see at the very top, there is a clear plan summary field that's available for anyone who's coming to this account for the first time, can read this and know what the goals and aspirations are of this customer, so that if there is an executive that's going to align with this customer, they know what the objectives are for this customer. So being able to, for the CS team or anyone close to the account to be able to capture that ensures that everyone is on the same page by quickly reading a crisp summary of what the customer is looking to achieve in the next 3, 6, or 9 months. Next, as I scroll down, you can see here that there is an objective here as well as an objective here. As you can see, Vodafone has bought our software and we're looking to reduce their time to hire by 20%, and we want to achieve this by 2020. So this is an objective, and one of the key aspects of objectives, which we also highlight, is for objectives to be SMART in nature. And SMART is an acronym that is designed to ensure that your objective is specific, measurable, assignable, timely, it can be accomplished in a timely manner, and is relevant. So the key is to have objectives as achievable and as time bound as possible. And for these objectives, I have an action plan which I'm working with the customer on. As you can see, we have an onboarding action plan. I have a series of tasks and actions that are currently in progress. And what I can see here is I also have a customer contact that I'm partnering with on this part of the initiative. Okay, so I can see this. Now, what I wanted to demonstrate to you was I have another objective here, which is around a reduced adoption for one of the candidate experience products that they had used. And they have reached out with concerns on how we can help them achieve that. So as a CSM on this account, I want to go and add an action plan to help this customer increase the adoption. And when I click on the success play, I am presented with a series of templated action plans that are available for me to deploy on this particular customer account. So what you're looking for is, what I'm looking for is something around adoption and around screening experience. Looks like they're not having good experience with screening. So looks like this seems to fit the bill. And when I click on it, I can see all the details of these templates. Now I can evaluate this and decide that looks like training is another aspect that I'm going to be doing for them. So I can make changes to this plan that I am choosing from the library, and I am making changes to it and also assigning a training task that I will be doing as part of this plan. And I'm looking to do that sometime mid-June, most likely. So I'm going to put that there. And all right, so now with this plan, I can go ahead and add this to this account. So as you can see here, this is now being added, and I can begin executing with the customer. Now I want to pause here for a minute to help you think about those templates that I was able to add. Those were basically success plays that are defined as manual. So you in our success plays module, when you start creating success plays in success blocks, we have two trigger types, whether they are event-based or manual. So we've ensured that you have the ability to leverage your existing success plays that may already be available, that you already have in your Tango system, or you can choose to create fresh ones and have them set up as manual so that they're available to your CS team in the manner that I demonstrated as a list of templated action plays. So what I have here is I have two plays. Now what I want to do is I'm ready to share this plan with the customer. So what I will do is demonstrate the sharing. So if you see here, I can edit this success play at any time and add additional tasks or make changes. That's a really powerful approach where you're not set in stone with a certain plan of action. You can make changes very iteratively as you're continuing to make progress. And what I want to do is I want to share this with customers as well. So the moment I flip this switch, I have the ability to also choose a customer contact that I want to partner with. If you had several contacts, they would appear here. So you could have, let's say, an adoption initiative where you're partnering with one stakeholder and an onboarding initiative where you're partnering with a different stakeholder. So you'd be able to do that. So all I'm doing is I'm setting this play up to be shared in a customer portal. And overall, I have the ability to decide when I want to share this whole plan with the customer. So I will go back here and show this to you. So I will turn this off for a minute so I can show the sharing process. So as a first step, what I have is I have set up this play with the ability to share with customers, as well as this play here that I just set it up for sharing, but the whole portal has not been shared with the customer yet. So I have a specific share option here where I can decide to share that with customers. I can also have a simplified project plan that they can recognize or identify with. And I can decide to invite my contacts. I can optionally decide to only choose the contact that I'm working with. And I can now say that I want to send the invitation to customers. So as you can see here now, clearly that this whole plan is shared with the customers. And basically the objectives that are in green with, the success plays that are in green with the objectives are now shared with the customers. Your customers receive an email where they're asked to log in to view the plan. All they have to do is click on this. I'm playing also the role of a contact here. So I have my, an alternate email address that I have tied to, as a contact on this account. And so as you can see here, with one click, I was able to log in, and this is a customer view that I'm viewing, and I'm seeing the plan that is shared with me. Now, I want you to take a minute to just digest what just happened. I did not have to provision any users. I did not have to create any logins. All I did was I hit the share button. I chose the contact that I wanted to share with, and I was able to share the plan. And the customer received an email, and I was able to choose. I was simply able to click on it to be able to log in and have a view of the plan. Now, if you remember here, I had a few tasks that were also assigned to the customer. So as you can see here, as part of my execution on the onboarding plan, I'm expecting the customer here, Vijay contact, to also complete this particular task where I want him to meet with his IT department and get a few things done. So if you can see here, the customer can also, sorry, one second, this is the plan that has been shared with the customer. So you can see here, I have this task that as a customer, I have the ability to complete, but I cannot make changes to the other parts of the plan. So this gives me, as a customer, the ability to assign specific tasks to contacts and share different initiatives with them. Now, at this point, you can see the power of having the plan live. What I want to also emphasize is you're not forced to share the entire plan. So I will use another account here in my organization, where imagine that I have another plan with the same customer where I'm also working on reducing the screening time for candidates as another project where I'm partnered with the same customer. But I may also be working on renewing this account, and I may have an action plan on renewals, which I don't want to share with my customer. So I have the flexibility to decide to share certain initiatives with customers, but at the same time, not share other initiatives. So the moment I've shared this, and in this case, both the accounts have the same contact, which is why as a customer, I'm able to see both the plans here, and I can switch between them to see if there were multiple plans across multiple accounts that were shared with the same customer. One example is, imagine that you could have an IT customer contact who could be present across multiple projects from your customer side. So such a person, when he's involved with multiple projects, will be able to see both the plans across both the accounts available to them and mark off the tasks that they have access to. And as you can see here, in this view here, let me just show you the comparative view. So you can see here, I'm seeing the reduced screening times by candidates and the onboard candidate screening module here. Reduced screening time and onboard candidate screening module here, but I don't see the renewal related success play that I also have on this account. So I have the ability to selectively share parts of this plan. Okay. All right, so those were the pieces. Let's recap what we just saw. So what we saw was that you had the ability to add a plan summary on the account right up top in the plan tab to make sure that all your team members are completely in sync with what's happening on the account. We have the ability to capture smart objectives with descriptions and capture a clear action plan from a templated series of actions. I was also able to make changes to the plan, and if none of those templated action plans were something that were applicable, I also had the ability to completely create one on the fly for that specific account and roll with it. What you saw was you were able to partner with customers, add them as co-owners to various initiatives so that you can clearly see, and they can also see how different stakeholders on their side are partnering on different initiatives. And you could also have tasks assigned to them that you're looking to them to complete. And for me to be able to do that, I had no steps involved in provisioning the users or creating logins or anything like that. All I had to do was choose, share the account and then choose which of the contacts I wanted to send an invitation email, and then be able to, have them log in. By the way, I realized that the email was in a different screen, so I wasn't able to swap the screen to show you. So I will show you the screen of the email that appears for the contact once we come to the end of this presentation. And then finally, you saw that the customers could log in and see the plan live in a portal just simply by clicking on it. All right, so now that we know what a plan is and how easy it is to manage that into Tango, as well as have the ability to share with customers, it's also important to understand what a plan is not. And thanks to one of our customers that I was working with on doing this, based on discussions with them, it became clear, and I felt that this is important to call out. Of course, you may have additional points here. But the plan is not meant to be a one-size-fits-all solution, and also it's not a silver bullet. Also, the idea is that you're constantly iterating and making changes depending on what works, what doesn't work. And it's important that there is this flexibility built into the plans that gives you the ability to constantly make changes. And we kept that in mind as we built this. And also, it's not something that you want to thrust down a customer's throat if they're not interested in participating with you. It's something maybe you can operate on with a plan that you are not necessarily sharing with the customers, and you have the flexibility to do that. And like I said, you don't have to have all the parts of the plan that is customer facing. You could, for those customers that are unwilling, you could just continue to operate without sharing them. Or you can even have certain initiatives that are internal, that are private to the organization, that you don't necessarily want to share with the customers. And renewal was one such example that I showed, where I had a renewal initiative in progress for one of the accounts, but I didn't necessarily share that on the portal, and the customer couldn't see that on the portal. All right. So with that, what I want to do is summarize this. And I've left additional quotes that I can present for future based on your usage of this plan. But the key is to realize that outcome success plans play an important role in key account management and your ability to manage your key accounts. And having a clear plan with the series of steps to engage with the customer ensures that you have a consistent executing pattern and you're having consistent results. And it's becomes even more important in today's COVID reality. And I wanted to add one of the updates that we heard from one of our customers. Of course, if you have additional such quotes or comments, we are welcome. And as well as I'm eager to hear feedback as some, we have customers already engaging on the community, and we're looking at all the feedback very closely, and we're certainly looking to enhance this feature towards, scaling it, and then also of course, to have additional reporting aspects added so that, you can take this feature to greater depths. All right. So if all of you are wondering how you can get started, like I said, the key account management success block should be available sometime soon. So first step is look out for that and then download it and take a look around. It will have a README doc with all the instructions, and as well as representative KPIs that you can look to focus. And of course, you can make changes once you download it from the gallery and tune it to your needs. immediately today, you can, once the webinar is done, you can have a clear set of key accounts and check if the plan summary has not yet been updated, to make sure that your team is updating the plan summary so that everyone is aware of what's happening on the account. And then, of course, if you don't already have manual plays already available, you can simply edit your existing automated plays and also check the manual box that I had demonstrated if there is applicability to some of those existing plays, or create new ones and offer them to your team. But that doesn't stop your team, because they also have the ability to create a play on the fly on the account with the own set of tasks, or even take existing ones and make changes like I demonstrated. And you can start by having your team capturing objectives for each of these accounts. And as you can see, it was really intuitive on every account. There weren't all the work that's happening on the account was in a single location, and you didn't have to do anything different to get to it. All right, so more information is available, of course, on the support website. You simply search for outcome success plans, and you have detailed instructions with details on how you can get them. All right, we're going to dive into Q&A, and I'm going to leave this on while I look at the Q&A. Give me 1 minute.
Hi, everyone. As we move into the Q&A portion, please submit any questions you have into the Q&A icon at the bottom of the webinar window. This will ensure that we don't miss a question. And it looks like we have a handful of questions right now, so we'll get started in just a second. I wanted to let you guys know that directly following the start of the pandemic, Tango launched our COVID-19 Customer Engagement Toolkit to help our customers understand which customers to target and what to say to help them engage with the relevant and timely messaging. If you're not yet a Tango customer, you can get started with free community today. You can get started with our customer engagement toolkit or free community for 3 users or less by visiting tatango.com/sign-up. Now back to you, Vijay.
Thanks, Lorena. I love it. There's so many good questions. So I'll start with right from the very top. Laura says, is it possible to attach artifacts to action items? Absolutely. You can upload attachments to the plan. And from attachments perspective, we have integrations to Google Drive as well as Microsoft 365 or Microsoft OneDrive, if I'm remembering correctly. And so, yes, you can directly attach links to the tasks. Okay, so the next question was, what was the difference between triggering a play or triggering a play in a plan? So really the only difference is that you're just manually triggering it sort of on an on-demand basis, that's all, versus the standard automated success play is looking for criteria and automatically firing. With a manual play, you also have the option to say, okay, I want to apply this success play on this account and start executing on it. So that's really the only difference. So another question from Graham is, can the portal be customized for branding? Yes, Graham. So what we're doing is we are giving you the ability to update your logo. We have terms and conditions that you can add and have your customers accept those terms and conditions before they go in. Now, obviously, as you start using more, we're eager to hear what additional type of branding you would love to do, and we're certainly looking to enhance this, but we are allowing you a basic level of branding today. Hari loved the demo. Thank you, Hari. Can customers also update the success plays where they see fit? So Hari wants to know if customers can also make changes to the play. So we intentionally did not go down that route, and I'm eager to see the feedback, and we're certainly open to approaching it differently in the future. But currently what we have done is we've given you as the partner the ability to define the plan and create the plan, and customers to complete tasks, and they cannot make changes to the plan.
I would add, if you guys, there will be a survey that comes out right after this webinar ends. If you have any other additional things you'd love to see in a webinar, please let us know.
All right. So there was basically a repetitive question, so I already answered that. This is for tracking a more dynamic and opener feature items. Okay, so I think the question that Lauren is asking is how can you use it to track more dynamic items? So all I want to say is we're working on, it's not directly related to this plan, but we're also working on giving you the ability to maintain collections via UI, which is something that we're working on, which will give you the ability to track additional things like, trackers and stuff like that. But that's a great feedback, Lauren. I'll take that and look to enhance it to be able to track additional lists and other things. The request information, can you speak a little more on that? Lauren, look for the Rapid Insights webinar that I conducted about 2 to 3 weeks ago. It should be on our YouTube channel that talks about specifically the request information. It's about being able to send out survey type forms to your customers, sorry, not to your customers, but to anyone within your team to gather more information. So that's what that feature was about. Can you make tasks private from the customer in a plan? Yes, absolutely. I demonstrated that you can have different pieces that you're able to share versus not share. So it is possible to keep things private. Is it possible to create plans for expansion opportunities? Yes, absolutely. Plans could be created for any sort of customer journey. You could have plans for expansions on how you want your CSMs to approach expansion, for escalations, for adoption, for onboarding. The list is endless, and your imagination can be used to take this in any different direction. Yeah, so can I report this for leaders to view summary? So you could send a screenshot. Currently, we're looking on additional ways of how you can send it to your stakeholders. But the other piece that I didn't touch on was we also have a present option, in the sense like a Zoom present or a slide present. So when you're with the customer, you can quickly pull up the customer view while you're working with them. So you can hide those internal initiatives and they're not seeing, for example, any of the internal initiatives while you're presenting to a customer. So there are means to do that. And I think that brings me to the end of, oh, there is one more question. Wow, this is a big question. Let me just read it. I'm thinking when it comes to onboarding and sharing a little plan. So in this case, it seems like we have to create an internal one for CSM next time. Boarding play that is kicked off. I might think of this correctly. Let me repeat the question that Lauren is asking. So her point is, since I want to use it for onboarding, do I have to create a different plan that I share with customers and different plan for internal? So you can certainly approach it that way, although that's not really necessary. You can, like I showed you, you can have tasks within your execution play where you have some things that you're doing and other things that the customer is doing. But if there are other things in there that you don't want the customer to see, maybe then you might want to think about having a play that is just purely shared with the customer, with maybe a few things that you're doing and a few more things that a customer is doing, and maybe have a more detailed inward looking play that is not necessarily shared with the customer. So you have the freedom to approach it in any which way that you want. All right, that brings to the end of the Q&A, Lorena.
Thank you, Vijay. Thank you everyone for joining today's webinar. And if you would like to join us for our next webinar on Voice of Customer programs with Tango, it's on June 11th, and you can visit us at tatango.com/webinars. Thank you and have a wonderful day.